17 जुलाई 2021 को विकी WICCI दिल्ली चाइल्ड केयर काउंसिल की स्थापना की गई, जो विकी नेशनल चाइल्ड केयर काउंसिल का एक अहम हिस्सा है। इसके अंतर्गत एक ऑनलाइन वेबिनार का आयोजन किया गया। वेबिनार का मकसद कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक के दौरान चाइल्ड केयर के अहम मुद्दों पर प्रकाश डालना तथा इसके निवारण हेतु विचार विमर्श करना था। वुमेन्स इंडिया चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्रीज विकी दिल्ली चाइल्ड केयर काउंसिल समारोह की शुरुआत एक विषय वस्तु के साथ की गई, जिसका विषय माइंडफुल पेरेंटिंग ड्यूरिंग पैंडेमिक रखा गया। ऑनलाइन जूम प्लेटफॉर्म के जरिए इस कार्यक्रम का आयोजन किया गया, जिसमें विमेन्स इंडियन चैम्बर ऑफ कॉमर्स एंड इंडस्ट्रीज विकी की संस्थापिका डॉक्टर हरवीन अरोड़ा, नेशनल चाइल्ड केयर काउंसिल की अध्यक्ष श्रीमती कविता अग्रवाल, नेशनल चाइल्ड केयर काउंसिल की मेंबर श्रीमती रिंकू भगत, दिल्ली चाइल्ड केयर की प्रेसिडेंट डॉक्टर अनुश्रिता, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट श्रीमती अंजुल सिंह, अन्य काउंसिल मेंबर्स, अन्य राज्य काउंसिल के अध्यक्ष तथा अन्य गणमान्य भी मौजूद थे। समारोह में मुख्य अतिथि लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल कपिल पांड्या, डॉक्टर प्रीति भूटानी, श्रीमती नीलश्री दामनी। समारोह को बहुत से लोगों तक पहुंचाने के लिए जूम तथा फेसबुक और सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स का इस्तेमाल किया गया। दिल्ली चाइल्ड केयर काउंसिल के अन्य मेंबर श्रीमती अमृत वर्षा मनकू, श्रीमती कुमुद, श्रीमती वसुधा आहूजा, डॉक्टर आरती सोनी, श्रीमती पूर्णिमा जैन, श्रीमती विभा गुप्ता, श्रीमती नीलू कुमार, श्रीमती सोनल गुप्ता, श्रीमती विनीशा गुप्ता, श्रीमती श्वेता श्रीवास्तव, श्रीमती नितिशा रत्न एवं सुश्री आलशी भट्ट। कार्यक्रम में मौजूद सभी दिग्गजों द्वारा गहरा विचार विमर्श किया गया, जिसके जरिए चाइल्ड केयर की जरूरत तथा मौजूद स्थिति में प्रकाश डाला गया। कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक के कारण सभी बच्चों के स्वास्थ्य, शिक्षा और भविष्य पर गहरा प्रभाव पड़ा है। इसके मद्देनजर सभी दिग्गजों तथा मेंबर्स ऑफ काउंसिल्स के द्वारा विचार विमर्श किया गया।
ऑनरेबल मिसेस कविता अग्रवाल, प्रेसिडेंट National Child Care Council, Mrs. Rinku Bhagat, Councillor National Child Care, and other honorable state president who have joined us today to cheer up. Respected guests, Lieutenant Colonel Kapil Pandya, Joint Director Health, DG AFMS, Ministry of Defense, Dr. Preeti Bhutani, an eminent author and trainer, Mrs. Neelshri Yalulkar, an engineer, a mother, and now a published author, our wonderful council members, our bloggers, our media partners, and our hosts, and those people who have joined us live. WICCI, Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, is a premier national business chamber for empowerment of women globally. It has reached to more than 120 countries and 250,000 members under able guidance of Honorable Dr. Harbeen Arora. And to continue the legacy, National Child Care Council was formed. And to extend the outreach, today we are very proudly announcing the Delhi Child Care Council, open to implement innovative strategies helping people post-pandemic.
Wishing everyone a very pleasant morning and a special Saturday, as today we are conducting the opening ceremony of WICCI State Child Care Council, Delhi. It's an absolute honor for me to welcome today our Honorable Dr. Harbeen Arora, President WICCI. Dr. Arora is a global icon, a visionary, a thought leader, and a global chairperson, All Ladies League, Women Economic Forum, and She Economy. Without her perseverance and determination, we would not have reached here.
Thank you so much, and many congratulations to the dynamic and blue-colored, vibrant council. And we are looking forward to all of you, to bring about colors of rainbow in parenting. And I welcome the dignitaries today, the speakers today. I thank you all for joining us and enlightening us with your knowledge. And I would take this opportunity to congratulate the President, Dr. Anushrita, and Vice President, Mrs. Anjul Singh. You have done a tremendous job. You have formed the council in a very short span of time and keeping the deadline of the launch. So it is absolute nice, and we look forward to this council to, work towards parenting. As Dr. Arora has said, that this pandemic, it has hit kids the most. So what we need to work on is nutrition, health, childcare, and absolute, as Anjul has stated, the different fields in which we need to work. And I'm sure this council is going to do a very dynamic job. Many congratulations, all the best.
I also would like to welcome Mrs. Rinku Bhagat, National Child Care Councillor, who is responsible for forming all state councils under the aegis of National Council. Mrs. Rinku Bhagat is a very renowned children's life skills and etiquette trainer and founder of AB Academy. Her lectures are well appreciated in India and abroad. Now I would request her to share some words of wisdom.
Who is a winner of Teach to the Future Award for Technology-Aided Learning. She is closely associated with CBSE, NCERT, SCERT, CBSEI, NIOS, and DAV. She is an author, trainer, and a teacher by profession, and a guiding soul to all of us. Your positivity is infectious, ma'am, and whenever it comes to praising you, I always fall short of words. So now I would request you to say a few words.
I'm Amrit Varshamanku. I don't know why people fear age so much and the wrinkles and the gray hair and all, because they give you the first place everywhere. You know, if people are pushing around and all, they'll tell you to come forward. I'm enjoying my age like, you know, anything. I'm not retired, as I'm always involved with some project for the benefit of the society. I'm glad to be a part of this enthusiastic engagement. I believe that any change is possible only when the change is actually happening, not just dreaming about it. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to request Mrs. Kumud Aluwalia, ma'am, who is an artist, teacher, and a meditation trainer with 20 years of experience. Over to you, ma'am.
Beautiful morning to all lovely people here. It is my privilege to be part of Wiki. Being a heartfulness meditation trainer, I would like to contribute in best of my ability. During this pandemic situation, meditation has helped many, not only the adults, but also the children in distress. So I feel all should try this and inculcate habit at a younger age. I would contribute in my best of ability, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your precious time. We have Vasudha ma'am with us, who is one of our favorite members and a very famous storyteller who comes with a rich teaching experience. She has always found new ways to educate children, and storytelling is one of those. Kindly enlighten us, ma'am.
Very good morning to everyone. And first of all, thank you, Anushrita, for choosing me as being the member here. And it's my immense pleasure being here. And I am a passionate storyteller. Yes, that's very true. And I love spreading these stories to the roots of our nation, which are children. So the journey has been beautiful till now by spreading these stories and beautiful art of storytelling. And with Wiki, I want to go forward, and I feel that it's going to be a beautiful journey ahead too. Thank you, everybody.
It was a delight to hear from you, ma'am. Moving on to our next and another wonderful council member, Mrs. Vibha Gupta. She comes with an amazing background of public health, marketing, and research. She's also a member of Harvard Business Review Advisory Council. It is an absolute pleasure to have you with us, ma'am. I would now request you to formally introduce yourself. Yes,
yeah, okay, all right. Thank you so much, Nitisha, for those kind words. Like I was saying, it's actually a matter of privilege and pride to be part of the Wiki, Delhi State Council for Childcare. And I actually look forward to contributing meaningfully and bringing my experience on board, as we work towards making a difference to children's lives. Thank you so much for having me here.
And our esteemed speakers. As Nitisha mentioned, I'm a human resource professional and a mother of 2 wonderful children, and a baker by choice. My association with WICCI stems from my zeal to give back to society. And what better way to contribute to our society other than educating children of our nation. Looking forward to working very, very closely with WICCI and make a meaningful impact to our society. Thank you so much.
A very warm greetings to all dignitaries and council members. I am Aarti from Delhi, doctorate in communication and journalism. I am a freelancer researcher by profession and very much passionate for child education. I am a mother of 3-year-old beautiful girl child. I think education is the best tool to open the doors for the children from very, very different backgrounds. I believe that every child has a potential and has a right to develop their potential too. To me, childcare is an opportunity, though, through which we can shape the nation's future. I have always been a person who had a passion to bring some change, to make a difference in the society. It's a privilege to be a part of this WCCI Child Care Council Delhi. Looking forward to contribute its vision as well as mission to bring a positive change in the lives of children through our combined effort. Thank you so much.
Thanks a million, Nitisha, for such a warm welcome. Well, I truly believe that gratitude is the best attitude. So first of all, I am grateful to all of you to accept me as a team member. This is the kindest opportunity which I think I have got and will surely give my fullest to make it perfect. I think being a part of this team is one of the best ways to contribute towards our society, and it will provide me with immense amount of self-fulfillment and personal growth, which will be difficult otherwise. So thanks a bunch to everyone once again, and let us together make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitisha ma'am, for introducing me. Hello, everyone. To begin with, it's my privilege to be a part of this versatile and prestigious group of people here at Wiki. To me, childcare is one of the most crucial and cognitive needs in order to build a healthy society. It is captivating to see how every one of us today is gleaming to extend helping hand for childcare. I pledge to put my best foot forward to work in sync with the vision and the mission of my council. Thank you.
So it is said to bring the change, you have to be the change. And I truly, truly believe in it. So my hope to be a part of this council is that together we all will bring in that change and not let any child be vulnerable. And with the childcare support, we're going to do it together and bring that change. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nitisha, for such a warm welcome and introducing me. I'm very excited to be a part of this council. I believe with everything changing at such a fast pace in the world, the new educational policy will bring remarkable reforms. And as a facilitator of change, I'll always motivate young children to not to stick to just one formula of success. As a Wiki Delhi Childcare Council member, I'm determined to put my best foot forward in whatever goals we plan to achieve. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody, and thanks for inviting me. And I'm really glad to be in such a graceful presence. I mean, there are experts from almost every field I'm seeing here. I don't know actually what I'm be able to contribute, but still, in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'd like to share my views on the way the pandemic has affected children, and as parents, what we can do about it. These are just my views. I mean, you all know much better than me. I'm just a stupid father. My wife is obviously a better parent, and I'm sure so must you all be with your kids. Coming to the way the pandemic has affected children. Now, it's an irony that while we are discussing how it has affected our children, or knocking on the door, we are having rumors and in fact research and everything which suggests that the third wave will affect kids more than the adults. So I just wanted to address this particular aspect for the Child Council members, that the data shows otherwise. In the first and second wave, we had around 12% of children less than, by children I mean children and young adults less than 20 years of age. Only 12% were affected out of all the COVID patients. And if we reduce that age to less than 10 years of children, then this number comes down further to just 3 to 4%. So if you take, say, 100 kids from birth till class 6th or 7th, hardly 3 or 4 will be having COVID. And of these, only 9% were having very severe disease, which required admission, which required ventilatory support. which had multi-system organ involvement. And even from them, hardly 2 to 3% died. So what I'm trying to tell here is that the apprehension and the anxiety around third wave affecting children more has to be taken with a pinch and a lump of salt. The data doesn't suggest what the general apprehension is. Second issue I wanted to address was about the way the pandemic has affected children symptomatically. Like for adults, we all know some of us have already faced COVID. Some of us have managed relatives and family members during COVID. So we all know what happens to adults. But in kids, surprisingly, the respiratory symptoms are complemented along with a lot of gastrointestinal symptoms. There is vomiting, there is diarrhea, there is stomach upset, plus certain neurological symptoms, which have been increasingly found among kids. So that is a technical aspect, but what I wanted to bring out is that it has affected the kids not only numbers wise, it has affected the way disease progresses in these kids. Have it affected them mentally? Yes. Now what happens is that we are all sitting here with around 20, 30, 40 years of experience and coping mechanisms that we have developed over our life. The kids haven't. And this so-called storm of psychosocial economic upheaval in last 18 months, this storm has struck the kids while they were in the process of developing those coping mechanisms.
Thank you for such a warm welcome. I would like to thank President Dr. Anushrita ji and Vice President Mrs. Anjul Singh for giving me this opportunity. I would like to add a little bit to my introduction. I am a mother to a 6-year-old who is a hyperactive kid, and of all the designations that have been mentioned, being an engineer, being a mother, and being an author, the most, the most closest and the dearest.
The council members are now requested to put up some questions from our experts. And I'm, first of all, I would really like to thank Lieutenant Colonel Pandya for giving us this beautiful insight. I was also very scared about this third wave, and thank you so much, sir, for bringing this up and clearing all the doubts. And mucormycosis again, black fungus, which I also tried to read and was getting skeptical about whatever was being published in media. But thank you so much for coming here, especially, and sparing time for us and giving this wonderful knowledge to us, all of us. Any council member, if wants to ask a question, please, you can ask the speakers. Varsha ma'am, would you like to put up some insight of yours? What do you think? What is your take at this mindful parenting?
My concern is,
can I talk?
Though I've been a teacher for a long time, and my first concern should be with the children. At any rate, all of us are more concerned with it. But I think the parents need more guidance than the children do. The parents are at a, a loose end. They want to do what is right, but they just don't know what is right. On one hand, everybody was sort of popularizing that screen time should be limited of screen time only. So doctor, I would like to ask you how the parents can take care of limiting the screen time as well as allowing the screen time, because everything is based on the screen time now. So what do the parents do? They are at a crossroad where they can't make up their mind. So what happens is, I've seen in young families with children, school going children, that there is a constant tussle between the parents and the children. All the homeworks are set on, where screen has to be used. And the children themselves, they join a chat group while the class is going on and things like that. So what are the parents' duties and responsibilities during this time?
Thank you for directing this question towards me, ma'am. It's a reality. We can't run away from it. Every lady who is between 30 to 40 years of age in this gathering, she will agree with me that as kids, when we grew up, we didn't have much screen, and now that there is a bias against screen time in our mind, which we have subconsciously developed. And yesterday only I was discussing this with my wife, and she brought out a very interesting factoid that when she was young, the TV with those antennas had come up newly, and people in her neighborhood used to say that usme se waves aayenge and they are harmful for health. Then later on, mobile phones, the not so smart mobile phones came, and people started saying that you keep it in your pockets and it will cause those radiation injuries to your reproductive organs. So all sorts of stories abound. When smartphones and screen time came in, similar kind of apprehensions and a bias against the screen started cropping up. But we can't shy away from it. As you rightly pointed out, ma'am, everything is dependent on screen. My personal opinion or a suggestion is that, number one, the screen time should be monitored, especially for teenagers. We can use tactics like, if there's a teenager in the house and he or she is using a lot of screen time, make sure they are in the...
But for screen time, as a mother and as a coach, what I feel is already kids are exposed to too much of screen time during the school hours, which they were not exposed to earlier. And, certain kids are having headache, or, they are getting these specs and all, power in the eye at a very early age. So what we can do is either, you completely remove this, or you establish a routine for them. You cannot keep chicken biryani in front of kids and you tell them that usko khana mat. आप अगर उनको screen provide कर रहे हैं, तो they will be watching those things. And if you're providing them with Netflix or Prime Videos and phones and gadgets, they have so many attractions around. And then if we ask them that do not watch, or the entire day we ourselves are stressed because of this, and we, instead of focusing on the good quality, like helping them to build social skills, or helping them to get those qualities, we keep concentrating on asking them to gadget hatao. तो gadget लाके किसने दिया है? लाके तो हमने ही दिया है ना. Right. So, what I feel is establishing a routine for a child up to the age of 12 is very, very necessary. Just pin up a routine in the room and make sure that kids are following that. You should, in that routine, they must have reading time, they must have play time, in which you yourself, it is not possible that the kids are playing and you're watching television. Of course, he'll come and sit next to you.
We agree that pandemic has affected life across the globe. It's isolation, contact restriction, economic shutdown. They impose a complete change to the psychological environment. Of course, there is economical environment change, but psychologically also there has been a great change that way. But it is also a platform for opportunities for personal growth as well as family cohesion. You all will agree that there are certain things you always wanted to do, but you couldn't because you never had time. So this pandemic was an opportunity for you to do all those things that you could do. Family time, we were always missing on that. We could never spend so much of time with the family. So this pandemic gave us an opportunity to have that cohesion with the family, to spend more family time. But what about children? They are also facing some kind of trouble. We always say that children, they are raw. And we form them, we mold them. Actually, it takes 3 institutions to mold a child. One is home, second is school, and third is society. And right now, because of this pandemic, everything is now just limited to home. There is only one institution, that is home, which is building up all the skills that a child develops in the school, develops in the society. When he goes to the school, he learns to be punctual. He learns to be obedient. He has certain set of rules that he has to follow. Teamwork comes into picture. When he goes into the society, he learns how to adapt to the situation, how to become a member of the society. When he's at home, he is developing personal skills. Now, what about the rest of the two? He's at home all the time. Can we as a parent accept that for these 2 years, our children are not going to grow socially or mentally? They're only going to be at home. It is not possible. We cannot accept that because it's not for a few days, for not few months, it's for years, almost 2 years now that we are in this situation. So what do? We have triple pressure as a parent on us. You know, it's a very difficult task because you have to play the role of a mother, father, you have to play the role of a teacher, but you also have to play the role of a society.